The infinite forest. You are in a beautiful forest that seems to have no end. However, in the distance, you hear the shouts of a group of bandits who seem to be attacking someone. You approach the shouts, being cautious and observing your surroundings. As you pass a bush, you see a group of bandits surrounding a man. You approach the bandits slowly, and when you are a few meters away from them, you shout, "Enough!" The bandits stop abruptly and turn to look at you. One of them speaks, "None of this is your concern, leave. This man is being unjustly attacked, and you have to stop," you say decisively, while the bandits stare at you intensely. "This man has done nothing to you, he has nothing of value on him, and yet you want to attack him. What is wrong with you?" The bandits do not respond, and it seems like they remain silent for a moment. However, one of them finally speaks, "This is our land, and this man is an intruder. He won't get away with it." "Is this man an intruder? How do you know what he's doing here?" "Maybe he's a traveler, or someone who got lost," you say, but the bandit interrupts you, "That's not important. What matters is that he has no place here, and he knows it. That's not something you can decide. He might have a legitimate reason to be here, and the fact that you haven't asked about his motive is more than enough evidence that you're committing an injustice," you say, angrily. "Excuses won't help us. If he's here, it's because he's an intruder. The land here is ours, and we do what we want with it. It's ours." The bandit shows no sign of being willing to back down. "Don't you have any mercy? Don't you have a heart? Are you really willing to harm this man just because he's here?" you say, increasingly furious and exasperated. "Of course. Mercy is of no use to us, and our heart only beats for our land. It is our duty to keep it free from foreigners like him," the bandit says, showing no sign of changing his mind. "But that's not fair. It's not fair. Can't we at least ask him what he's doing here?" you plead with the bandits. "He might have a legitimate reason to be here." "Of course, we can ask him, right?" another bandit says. "But that won't change things. He's just an intruder who sneaked in, and he will be expelled somehow. Why don't we wait for him to tell us something, and then decide?" "Wouldn't that be better?" you say. "At least we could know what happened. We shouldn't go on the offensive without knowing the reason. What's important about that? The only thing that matters is that he has no permission to be here. Why don't you understand that? No justification or excuse can spare him from his punishment," one of the bandits says. "Someone like him couldn't have a good reason to be here. Believe it or not, everyone has a good reason for everything they do," the man says, looking at the bandits with a surprising tone in his voice, "and I am no exception. My reason for being here, my reason for invading your land, is a reason that the bandits would never understand." "And what reason is that?" the bandit leader says, looking at the man with a challenging tone. "What could you want from our land? Look around you, and look at your own face in the mirror. Can you really say that this land is perfectly yours, and that you never invaded it?" the man says. "Because if you truly believe you are superior, or more worthy to live here, then you are more arrogant than all of you combined." The bandits fall silent, and they seem to really think about it. "You're right, the land we're on was not originally ours, but belonged to someone else," the bandit leader says. "However, we are the heirs of the land. We have claimed it, we have earned the right to live here." The bandits tense up, on high alert. "Whoever this approaching person is, don't let him get close." "Got it," the bandit leader shouts, and then they turn to wait for the new visitor approaching. The horse continues to approach, maintaining a good speed as it reaches you. It is a rider dressed quite luxuriously, with an air of authority. When he stops in front of you, he looks at the bandits very seriously. "What's going on here?" the rider says, angry. "I hope you're not bothering an innocent person." Come on, you're not needed here," the bandit leader says. "We're just doing what we have to do. This man is invading our land." "That's an excuse," the rider says, looking at the bandits with a very serious gaze. "I think you know perfectly well that you've been abusing him and his presence here." "That's not true. This man has no place here, and we're not doing anything wrong. We have to get him out of here, and there's nothing you can do to stop it," one of the bandits says. "This land is ours, and it's our duty to keep it clean and free of foreigners." "You already said that, right?" the rider says. "They're just excuses. If you had to do something with him, you could have done it a long time ago, but you haven't because deep down you know you have no reason. Each one of you should be ashamed of what you're doing." The bandits seem stunned and don't seem to know what to say. Very well. "But don't think this is over," the bandit leader says. "When you have to flee this land, don't come to us begging for mercy, because you won't receive it." The rider remains very serious for a moment longer, looking at each of the bandits one by one. Then he unsheathes his sword and points it directly at the bandit leader. "For now, I won't be running anywhere. As far as I'm concerned, you're the ones who have to leave." The bandits are astonished, and they don't seem to believe that someone has confronted them in this way. They look at the rider with a mix of anger and fear, then glance at each other, feeling that the situation has slipped out of their hands. "If you stay here for one more second, things will get much worse for you," the rider says, still pointing his sword at the bandit leader. "So hide wherever you have to hide, and don't dare to come back to this area ever again." The bandits remain silent and are clearly stunned. Then, one by one, they start fleeing into the bushes. Within minutes, none of them are near. "Well, now that they're gone," the writer says, lowering his sword and relaxing slightly, "I was wondering if you could tell me what happened here." "Well, these guys have been harassing this man since he arrived here. They kept asking me about his reason for being here, and saying they were going to kick him out. And when I tried to intervene for him, they ignored me and started threatening me too." "Ah, so it's a serious matter. I'm glad you stepped in on time. How long has he been enduring this?" "Well, the truth is, I've been putting up with them for a while now. They've been really tough on me. But today was the breaking point, and I made them feel my anger in front of all the bandits there. I was fed up with their abuse." "Ah, well, I'm glad you stood your ground against them. You shouldn't have to endure their abuse, and neither should anyone else. It's sad that there are so many people in the world who can't behave like human beings and treat others with some respect. I completely agree with that. I can't believe there are people who think themselves superior to others enough to harass someone without any reason. It makes no sense, and it's very unfair." "Well, the good thing is that at least that's over now. Now that they've left you alone, do you have plans to stay here for a while, or are you going to leave for the moment?" "Well, the good thing is that at least that's over now. Now that they've left you alone, do you have plans to stay here for a while, or are you going to leave for the moment?" "Maybe I'll stay here for a few days, or perhaps a couple of weeks. I'm in no hurry to return to my family, so I can make this place my temporary home if you allow me. Of course, you're welcome to stay for as long as you need. There's no problem with that. I'm just glad you're safe and in a place where you can feel comfortable." "Me too. Really, I can't thank you enough for intervening and helping me. Without your help, who knows what would have happened to me. Don't worry, I'm glad I could help you. It's good that you're okay, and I hope you take care in the future. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask, alright? I wish you a lot of luck from now on."